Truth of the matter is I'm complicated. You're as straight as they come. You go about your day, baby, while I hide from the sun. It's better if you don't understand, 'cause you won't know what it's like until you try. You know I've been waiting on the other side, and
So while we must be proud of our own language, we want it to become a world language. But the fact still remains that until we acquire the knowledge that will help develop our country, our language will not be looked up to, will not be learned, because it's not so useful for people. And in order to promote your language, you have to be successful. Your nation will have to be successful. You yourself must be successful. If you are successful, then people will want to know more about you, and they will learn your language. But if you are a failure, nobody will want to learn your language. You know, there are lots of so-called primitive people. They speak their own language, but who wants to learn their language? Because there is no benefit from that, because you cannot even trade with them, much less gain knowledge from them. So because we want our language to be highly respected, the important thing is to make a success of yourself, to make the nation more successful. And to make the nation more successful, you have to access the knowledge that is available today. And that knowledge is available to us in English. Whether we like it or not, we have to master this language so that we can have that knowledge that will help us grow and develop and become. We need to translate, but it's not translating one single book. It is translating papers which are coming out every day of the year. There are hundreds of thousands, not hundreds, maybe thousands of papers, academic papers coming out every year. You cannot translate, you cannot find anybody who will spend his lifetime translating it for you. You know, the Arabs became Muslims and they were told to read. At the time when they were told to read, there was nothing about Islam to read. So they read whatever is available to them, and they studied the Greek philosophy, Greek science, etc. Now, how do they gain access to Greek philosophy? Surely it must be by learning the Greek language, or even the Chinese language, because that is the language of knowledge at that time. And of course, over the centuries, the Arabs became very learned. They built up a great civilization, Islamic civilization. They produced great scientists, great mathematicians, and they wrote books in Arabic. And when the Europeans realized that the Arab civilization was way ahead of them, they wanted to learn the way in which the Muslim civilization developed. And in order to do that, they realized they must gain the knowledge that is with the Arab. For that purpose, the Europeans learned Arabic to gain access to the libraries in Cordoba, in Baghdad, which are in Arabic. They learn Arabic, they learn to acquire the knowledge. It's not because they don't like their own language, but to acquire knowledge, they have to learn Arabic. And once they have mastered the knowledge, then of course they translated it into Latin in the first place, and then back into German or French or English. So we are at that stage where we need to learn the language of the knowledge that is coming to us, and that language is English.
here we go. Come with me. There's a world out there that we should see. Take my hand, close your eyes. With you right here, I'm a rocketeer. Let's fly.
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.